abikole emmere ye ate kati nkole ki emmere y'abasajja kyebalya
teka ya matugire. Yes, welcome to Sports Nation TV, and this is an exciting and special edition of the Inbound Show where we talk everything local basketball. It's exciting because we are privileged to have the Federation of Uganda Basketball Association General Secretary, also doubles as the Vice President, if I'm not mistaken.
Administration.
Yes, Vice President Administration, Mr. Hudson Ssegamwenge, and of course we've retained Stella Nikuze, a national basketball league champion and now playing in the lower division. I don't know.
Retirement benefits.
Yes, how excited are you to have the FUBA General Secretary with us, because he said in one of the groups that we share, unfortunately you are not part of it, he said that there are some things he wants to highlight that we criticize the FUBA in a wrong way, and is here to make some highlights. How excited for you to have him here?
I'm actually very excited to have him part of us, because that is going to clear the air in whichever angle, because this is for everyone in the federation. We all have to get the knowledge that we need. So I am happy to have him part of us, and I can't wait to have more insights about FUBA itself.
We're happy to have you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate. I'm a big fan of this platform. Good to have me here, and I commend your good work.
And by the way, let us start you with the national team.
Yes.
The men's national team.
Why are we starting with the silver?
Yes. Bakati training. So game. Did you watch the games, and how disappointed were you with just the results?
Well, of course, I watched all the games as a stakeholder, big stakeholder. I watched all the games, and I actually followed the team from the preparations for this window, because I'm usually the last person to handle the lists. That is in terms of eligibility and registration. So I get the privilege to know who is going to feature at the stage at a time. But of course, the results did not come our way. We've really had a span of bad results. That is on record.
Yeah.
But one, I want to commend us, the federation, for the continuous participation. Because I assure you, Kawalia, there are a lot of countries that are struggling, that can't even play one game, qualifiers.
We saw Mali the other time pulling out.
Exactly, because of various reasons. And we are not the only ones in dilemma. You've seen our neighbors, our neighbors here in Kigali. The whole nation is in how they're saying what is happening with their national team. But of course, I think it's a process. It's a process. Our national team had some consistency ever since we played the Afrobasket in Kigali, where we had good results. From that time, to me, there's been low results coming in, or poor results coming in. But if you follow that team very well, you realize that we've lost a lot of players. That crop of players.
That's in the skeleton of the team.
Exactly. So right now we're in a bit of like a tanking process. And to me, the good side of this period is that we have now started introducing new faces. New faces that can actually take us in a span of 5 to 10 to 15 years, and they are good players. To me, this tournament, this window, the standout player for me is Musime Kamali. No one knew him, but we've introduced him to that platform, and trust me, he's going to play good basketball for the country. Yes,
and Hudson, given that you are so much invested in the youth teams,
yes,
I think you should be as well excited with
Edwin Akau.
With Edwin Akau, and the other window there was Joel Rugget.
Yes,
who were promoted from the junior teams.
Yes, you see, now that's the process. To me, who's more into the youth teams, if now I start seeing that gradual process of the youth athletes now entering into the mainstream main team, then that means we have some progress.
And And maybe let me veer you off the conversation. Is it true that you guys divided these teams amongst yourselves? You to be so much invested in the youth teams, that is the junior Silverbacks and the junior Gazelles. Then Nasa Serunjo, the FUBA president, to take on the Gazelles, the ladies team, and then you give Hajan, the other NBL, the other the other senior national team committee, the Silverbacks committee, to be handling the men's team. Is that true?
That is not true, but it's the word around, and people have been saying it. I can tell you that the youth team is going to travel soon, in a few days to come. The boys have to go to Egypt to qualify for Africa Cup, but
for the other tournament that was
rescheduled from here because of Ebola. But everyone in the executive is involved. The president is involved, the CEO is involved, I am involved, Trish, in charge of youth and mini basketball, is involved. When the Silverbacks are preparing, I am involved. Now, me not traveling with the team doesn't mean I'm not involved. You understand? But they talk out there. People think that, oh, because whenever the youth team is going to travel, Hudson is the one going. No, there are roles. There is always a head of delegation. But I can assure you, this time I was supposed to travel. I did not travel because of my work schedule.
Maybe, I don't know if you are at liberty.
Yes.
On our last question, before Stella comes in for the league, and I don't know if you are at liberty to talk about the situation of Goran Rowe, the national team coach. We first saw him appointed to the Gazelles. He failed to turn up, and then he was appointed to be the head coach for the national men's team. The Silverbacks, he failed to turn up on the first window, and then he didn't turn up for the second window. What exactly happened? No,
of course, the other time he had personal issues, but this time his availability was the issue. His schedule could not let him be available. But in any case, we haven't let him go. We haven't relieved him of his duties. We have a pool of coaches, that can still help out with the window. But he's still our head coach. You should relieve him of his duties. Why? you realize that these windows are a bit tricky. That is why you also see that sometimes we are not consistent with the team. The team that usually you might find that the previous window we have some faces that that appeared, but this time they did not because of the work schedule. You also realize that in the other window we had aligned a number of star players, but they opted out at the last minute because of still their work schedule. So it's tough for Silverbacks. Okay, then let us start with the national basketball, all the lower division. Still, I want Hudson to first reflect on some of the earlier discussions we had, especially during the game that you played with the Lad Warriors. Maybe
before we go to the league, I wanted Mr. Hudson to help clarify on the Silverbacks, because over the years we've been having foreign-based players coming in and showcasing their talent, which is a good thing. Boosts the league, it boosts the game. But the inconsistency in players turning up for the different windows, doesn't it affect the Silverbacks' progress? Because then we have windows where our 4 or 5 go-to players of the previous window have not showed up the next window, and then now we have to fetch for a new face on a big stage. So and then we have little time for preparation. So because we are bringing in new players at a bigger stage with 10 days preparation, isn't it affecting the Silverbacks? And also we don't have a bigger pool of the local players to pick from. Is it because our league is not as competitive? We don't have very good players. We don't have talented local players that you can look at and not just see 3 or 4 players to add to the 8 that are foreign based. Do we have a bigger pool of local players that you can look at and say, because even when we were talking earlier, we were brainstorming and saying, who could we have taken in the local players that could have at least impacted somehow? But then we were scratching and I'm like, who? Because honestly, the local league, we are not boosting our local players to prepare them for that. So what will happen if the foreign-based players, 6 or 7 of them are actually not available or continue to be inconsistent? Do we have other local players we're going to look into? And then maybe the other issue was the players we used to have in the local sector was Tony Drileba, Oxy, Okello James. They used to turn up and they actually used to perform. What happened to this previous window? How come we didn't have them in this car? Were they not available? Actually, I'll start there. Tony was called
the other window, and he said is not available. Probably because of his health. He had some health issues. And you see, with the national team selection, we gave the mandate to the national team committee. They sit, look at all the players they have in the pool, analyze their stats, and then pick the best 12. Okay. Now, we as the federation executive, we just task them, and then we wait for debrief. If there is any issue to look into, then we highlight it. Yeah. So the issue of these players that have gone off the radar, of course they always get the call up, but from the previous window, their schedules have changed, and they are saying they're not available. But what do we do on our end? The team has to compete. The team has to continue. We can't afford not to go and compete because we're already in the group and games are already scheduled. So you have to come up with a roster. Now, on the issue of the foreign-based players, I'll be honest. Our pool is now getting smaller, especially with the experienced ones. The Wainwright, the Brandons, the
Davis.
Yeah, exactly. The pool is getting smaller. They are more busier. Okay, but you see, with the committee, that has given them more work to look around and see. That is why you have now Mbogo, you have new faces that you can see. We have now also turned in the youth, because we've had a span of good results for the youth for the last 3-4 editions. So now we feel, for example, the last U18 team that competed here in Lugogo and went ahead to feature in Africa Cup in South Africa, we believe that crop can actually make a good team, the Silverbacks. That is why you're seeing the likes of TJ. This time we had actually called up Nkugwa Mukisa, but because he had just gotten to college and his work schedule was also a bit tight, could not come.
And I'm told you ended up naturalizing some of those kids.
Exactly.
But they are Ugandans.
They are Ugandans because we had an issue that that time. There was a petition that was made by our neighbors.
Rwanda.
Yes, because with competitions there is always you're in sports. There is always that fight. So they actually said those were not what? Those are not. Actually, at a certain time, you realize that the games that were here, they did not play some games because we were busy in the boardrooms fighting for their eligibility. So by then, FIBA said that some are going to play as nationals, others are going to play as naturalized. But that did not stop us from making a follow-up because we want them and want them to play as nationals. And now that even the rules have changed, from FIBA has changed the rules now for any player born outside to be eligible to play for their country. The rule used to be they ought to have obtained a passport before turning 16, but now the rule has changed to 18. So now, for them, exactly. For them, they already obtained their passports when they were still even below 16. So we have made a follow-up, and in due course, they are going to be cleared.
Okay. Stella, I want you to first remind us of the situation that Hudson wants to clear about Lead Warriors. What exactly happened to someone who's hearing this for the first time, who did get a chance to watch our previous episodes?
Lady Warriors had a game. The game was slated for 9 a.m. Saturday, KIU. Our team was ready at 9. We had about 8 players warming up. 9:15, the table was set, umpires were ready. And I remember walking into the table and I'm like, we should be starting now. It's already 15 minutes as per the rule. So where is the other team? And then Madam Joy was like, they're on their way. You understand? So I was like, but at this point, this is when we are supposed to be awarded the walkover. So Joy was like, no, Madam Joy was like, you can be warming up as the team shows up. Yeah. Then it gets to 9:30. But the umpires are ready. Because I was even trying to talk to one umpire. I'm like, why don't we start the game? And the umpire was like, no, we're waiting. The game commissioner will be the one to give us the final conclusion on this game. So we wait, and then the team comes. Of course, the team comes because you're late, there's confusion, and then you come with a red jersey because you're home. So I remember telling the table that if this team is coming and they are coming in a red jersey, it's going to be a breach of the rule. So they can't play on a home court with a red jersey. So that's the point where a few minutes later, they bring the pink jersey. Now this is approaching 9:40, you understand? So we are waiting, again that we're not supposed to have played. But because they kept saying, we're going to play, let's just send the team list. For me, what didn't settle well was the double standard, because I respect Madame Joy. When she gave a walkover to KCC, everyone was like, that's the law. That's the law. Whether the jerseys were 2 minutes away, it's the law. So everyone was like, yeah, she followed the book. I thought it was the same book we were reading in Div 1. So when we go to Div 1, and then now here we have to wait for Mapesa to come in and then change the jersey and then we play. For me, that confusion is like, not that because it's my team, but the rule applies to any team.
Hudson, amateeka again BL tegakola mu lower division.
Amateeka ge gamu kubanga bwe tuba tutandika liigi zino tuyita ttiimu zonna oba eri mu regional oba eri mu NBL ne tutuula wansi ne tubaga amateeka fena ne tugakola ki ne tugakkirizaako ne tugayisa. Okay, but my challenge with her side,
Stella Nikuze.
yes, Madame Stella, is that, with respect, is that one, she's a big stakeholder because she's a player, okay? And she's a former big player in the National League. So I respect her for that. But what I need to tell our viewers, or the sports fraternity, is that one, that day there was a delay. According to the match commissioner's report, because now, me when you say these things and I've read every weekend, we have to go through the match commissioners to know which scenarios came up, how were they handled, and for a good debrief on Tuesday for the CC meeting. What happened on that day, according to the match commissioner's report, is that the equipment that was supposed to be used on that day
The shot clock,
late.
The computers and everything.
Arrived late. The commissioner was on the venue by 8:30. Okay? By 8:45, the equipments were nowhere to be seen. She claims in the report that she called our equipment operations person, Kevin. You all know him.
We know Kevin.
Kevin was here at Lugogo trying to arrange. Okay? Now, in the meantime, as we enter into the 9 o'clock, her team arrives. Not so? Her team arrives.
Right on time.
Yes, they're on time. When the team arrived, because the equipment was not there, the game could not what?
Could not start.
Could not start. Okay? Even the game management team were coming in what? In bits. Now, that is a challenge on our side with management, because this has been a problem. I've been in the lower league for the last 20 years. I know that when a game is scheduled at 9, even the referees themselves sometimes come at 9:30, which is a challenge that we have been actually working on. Time management, even in our operations, equipment, because these fixtures are already there in the public. Everyone knows that on Saturday, games are going to start at 9. You understand? But the issue was because of the equipment.
As per the statement.
Okay?
As per Madame Joy.
Yes. Now, the equipment comes in a bit late. There was actually one official, not two.
Around.
Yes.
According to Madame Joy.
So the commissioner could not start the game because, but one, the equipment were not set up. Two, there was one what? Now, when all game management officials arrived and everything was set up, that was going into 9:30, 9:45. Now, according to the report, there were only 3 players for that team.
For the opponent?
Yes. And they were actually putting on a red jersey.
Saint Cyprian?
Yes. But between me and you, it's on record, that is not the jersey for Saint Cyprian. And actually, according to the match commissioner, the team eventually arrived with the right jersey and the game was played.
According to the report.
Our concern is that one, they were supposed to receive a walkover according to the rules. My question to her and the management of that team is, was that done? Was the clock set? Because usually if the team is late, the commissioner sets the what? Let's say we have given them 30 minutes. As per the rules, we have given them 15 minutes.
Was there a communication that the game will delay because maybe not everything is set in terms of the FUBA's side?
According to the report, the commissioner was talking to the team that was on ground, informing them why the delay was doing what was happening. But let me finish.
It's okay. You finish.
The thing is, what she said, there are two scenarios. One, the rules in terms of walkover. When does a walkover happen? Okay? If the team is late and the timer is set and still they can't beat the timer, the walkover is given. Two, if the team comes with the wrong jersey, they set on court, they are given time, they can't produce the right jersey according to what they verified in the licensing rules, they get a walkover. You understand? The question is, did those two scenarios happen by the rule book?
That's what I'm saying. It's unfortunate that the game commissioner, what they write in the report,
is what FUBA takes.
Unless there's an eyewitness. Because now for me to say, no, there was this, and I don't have pictorial evidence.
Yes, so what the umpires were.
It's not going to help, because now imagine, I'm just imagining how Mapesa and the team come just in time, and in that very minute, we quickly play. There was everything set. We had 2 umpires on that day. It's just because this is the game commissioner, and with all due respect, we cannot disregard their statement.
Kawaya, let me ask.
No, right now, do you know the problem is? Mr. Hudson right now, upon reading the game commissioner's report, for him that's it. That even now, if I try to say, no, this wasn't right, he's already saying, no, it was right. Because if it was a statement from a game commissioner that you, Mr. Hudson, was not present, then it is okay for you to seek knowledge from this other side of the team. If you had come to Ledwell and said, was this true or not? Because everything was set. Maybe there's equipment that came with the Cyprian jerseys that we don't know.
Let me ask you, was that game on live with live stats?
Really?
I'm asking you, and I have a reason why I'm asking you.
Go ahead.
You know why? Because the statisticians, according to the report, came late and they forgot about the cable for their laptop. And I have gone ahead myself to look for the live stats of that game, and they are not actually not there. All other games on that day were recorded on live, apart from that game.
My only concern is that
Yes.
are there proper communication channels through which these teams are informed about delays of the game? Because this is not just a one isolated incident.
True.
We saw this in NBL as well. That's why even a team like JKL Dolphins had a walkover go against them.
Even UCU?
Yes, even UCU.
For several times.
Yes.
They have gotten walkovers.
Are there proper communication channels? Because the team is told that the game will start at 9. For them, they're at the venue. And then you tell them that this is not a walkover because as FUBA or the other teams are not right at the venue at the time.
Now, this is what happens. When a game is set, for example, for 9:30, and everything is set, and one team is not there on the ground, the commissioner has a mandate as the game management official to do what? To communicate to the other team that the game is supposed to have started at 9:30. It's probably 9:45. Where are you? But according to the rules, they set a 30-minute mark. And the timer is actually set in the presence of what? Of the team present on court. If the other team doesn't beat that mark, then the walkover is what? Is awarded. And in most scenarios that you're talking about that have been happening, that is how. Usually the commissioner is always in communication with the opposite team. Where have you reached? It is now 10 minutes. Where have you reached? I own a border, I own, And in most cases, the walkover is actually given when it is beyond
Anyway, in my judgment, I think teams will now be living on the mercy of the match commissioner. Whatever she decides, whatever he or she decides.
But you see, on the side of communication, I'll be honest. We've had challenges. We've had challenges. That is why, as the executive, we even went ahead to give these leagues to be managed by the respective committees. The NBL now has a what? Has a committee. The lower division has a committee. Now, when you say that games are going to be delayed, there is always a communication channel. Okay? We have a whole think tank group.
I remember
for CC, for, you know.
I remember JKL saying that you didn't write to them via email that their game
now that is where you see there are scenarios that have happened. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. You remember the walkover in UCU that was given to JKL?
Yeah.
That went against JKL.
That went against JKL. Yes, in the change of time. Yeah. Now, there are some scenarios that happen on ground and the decision has to be made.
And communicate to the teams.
Exactly. Right. Now, how do we do that? By the time a manager, because the manager, for example, myself, I'm a manager. If on Sunday I know that my game is at 11, probably I have to first go to church. Then I set up myself. Now, I am not going to read the email, whether Donan has sent, but we have other communication channels that we can, when a decision is made and communication has to go there and then. If you're keen with the lower division, there are a lot of game changes. A lot of game changes that happen. One, because of issues of officials, issues of game facilities, venues. So during even the game day, there are a lot of decisions that are made, but communication goes out to the respective managers.
Maybe going forward, that communication should be made like mouth to mouth, and then for purposes of future references, like if teams go on to complain,
that is when they
should also be put also on email or
but I wanted to ask my dear sister here. Now, them as a team, when they realized that there was a challenge with the game commissioner, or the game was mismanaged at the start and rules were broken, did they play that game under protest or?
You played under protest, and you don't want to be the spokesperson of the team.
But they did not.
Yes, but
because according to the book,
for me, I had to close it.
No, don't close it like that.
Yes, FUBA against a match commissioner.
Someone comes on a bias of the game.
No. I did not.
Leave it at that.
My sister, I did not come here. Kawalia, saze wano kuchallenginga mukyalo ono with bias. Wabula nze naze tubuulire sports fraternity amazima.
Naye amazima goleese.
Okitegeera. Match commissioner tasobola kutuula na doctoringa report. Tasobola. Tunagenda ku national basketball team. Omukyalo ono aleese scenario ya KCC. Ayagala comparinga scenarios zino. Ne issue ya KCC. Era mu katambi kali kwe nasinziira. Yagamba nti lwaki KCC yo bagiwawo okova olw'omujoozi ate bo ne batakola ki okitegeera. Naye kitulina okugamba abantu baffe abagoberera omuzannyo guno. Scenario ya Lady Warriors ne ya KCC byanjawulo. They're not the same. Okitegeera. They're not the same. Okitegeera. KCC twali wano. Okitegeera. Twali wano. Tiimu n'eremera okuleeta omujoozi omutuufu.
Omujozi yaguleeta naye netuuka 10.
Kiri eky'obudde nga kibakutte.
Kati FUBA okuzaayawo kati FUBA bwe ziba ttiimu zino zisobola balinda nga Red Warriors mugambye nti teyinawo case because yalinda game yajja kutandika saa 3 n'olwokuba official bamwe tebannaba kujja ne mbalinda over 30 minutes. Ttiimu okutuuka 2 minutes late. Lwaki nayo tegitta omugiwaamu ako kaliwe.
kati
kuba tiimu nazo zibalinda kulokute zinnatuuka kompyuta teziriiwo ne babalinda barefali obumu beekyanze namusoka ne mbakubira ne bava n'embuliri for over 40 minutes tiimu netuuka 2 minutes late
balesaganya tugende mu scenario ya KCC
kati yange kyembadde
mbadde njagala nze clearinga air nti scenario ya Red Warriors ne ya KCC byanjawulo kubanga Red Warrior omujozi gwe bakozesa gwe gwabwe tebakozesa mujozi mulala okitegeera ate commissioner teyabalinda kugamba nti tubawadde eddakiika 3 mugende muleeta omujozi omulala tiimu bwe yatuuka yonna yajja n'omujozi gwayo
abaaliwo gwe baali bambadde
abaaliwo abasatu abana bajja n'omujozi gwabwe kiri bajja n'omujozi gwabwe naye mu kugenda ku kkooti okutandika okuzanya ku tip-off baali babalinda
baleta omujozi
tiimu yonna teyaliiwo
maybe we shall leave that for the public to judge and maybe one day we'll find the truth about that. Njagala focusing on National Basketball League, given that the playoffs are coming back this Friday or they tip off this Friday, but I want us to first reflect on how the season has been. First of all, you've hinted about on the fact that now as Federation of Uganda Basketball Association, you gave the mandate to these committees to manage the league. How did you arrive at that situation so that you are no longer handling the leagues? You gave it to the NBL committee. How did you arrive to those decisions? And like what other issues do you still handle? When do you come in terms of managing these leagues, specifically the NBL?
Now, for more than 5 years back, if I'm to recall very well, by the time we got into power in our first term, we realized that the National Basketball League, all these leagues, actually take most of our time as the executive and resources. Okay, so when we realized, and the teams were demanding, all have been demanding a lot from the federation. Yes, a team, we sit in meetings at the start of the season, and you give them a budget. You tell them this is the budget. The sponsor gives us this much. According to the operations, we shall be using this much. This money is little. Now, you're supposed, if we are to calculate well, our resources would take you for each team to be paying this much. They argue. Say that is a lot of money. When you know these teams, some of them are, you don't have sponsors, individuals are giving, So we reduce the cost in terms of registration. We manage the sponsors' money. Now, the deficit, we have to find a way as a federation. Now, we did that for more than 2, 3, 4 years. And we sat down and realized, like, look, some of even that time we could divert resources that are supposed to go to maybe the national team, maybe capacity building to fund the league. And we realized that it was a problem. Because as far as our government or National Council of Sports is concerned, if they give you money, you're not supposed to divert it to the league.
Strictly for
exactly. But now even the managers are developed that mindset that we get money from government and we are supposed to patch it in the league. So we said, no, we are giving you this league. For 2 or 3 occasions, the managers refused. I remember we sat several meetings, they refused. Okay? But eventually, with God's grace, they actually took up the mantle. Yes, they eventually allowed and they took up the mantle. And realized that had turned off a lot of weight from us. Now we can concentrate on the national teams. We have a lot of national team activities. For example, for now, you look at what is going on. Silverbacks have just finished. We have U23 women's 3-on-3 in Mombasa. We have series abroad in Europe.
In France.
Others are coming up. U18 is coming up. So we have a lot on our plate.
What is still under your jurisdiction?
Now we agreed with the NBL League Management Committee that look, you're going to handle all issues in regard to managing Managing means venues, remuneration of officials, you know. Where do you want us to have those games, when? So that all that planning goes into their management. Ours is technical. We retain the technical bit, the fixtures, who refs, which match commissioners, disciplinary issues coming out of the league. That is when we come out now. But you realize with the lower league, the LLMC was there before, because actually this challenge,
they had been managing
this challenge arose from the lower league. Actually, the federation by then had abandoned. We could even have stops, like you play 4-3, 4-5 games, and then we say, you first wait. Then we sit for a month, and then now when we get money, we tell them, okay, now you come back. We said no, we are getting away from that. And I remember under Ambrose Tashova, the chairman of National Council of Sports, then our previous president, is the one who decided to give us that the mandate for LLMC. Now LLMC gets into our term, and it has been doing well. Yeah, I actually commend them. They have been doing, because they manage most of our members. They have many teams, and they have done well. I know there are challenges like communication, like she has said, but they try as much as possible.
Because wali ochali ku Bakari.
Nali ku Raise Life.
Raise Life. Stella, now it's your time to fire. To fire the General Secretary, the Vice President. What has not impressed you with the way the league has been managed?
My problem, number one with the league, is referee standards. There've been a lot of complaints from different clubs. I don't know whether there is a body that reviews referee performance in the NBL especially, because if it is there, then we should be seeing like referee suspensions. If clubs come, what's the procedure for clubs to report a case? Because fans, it's also chasing away fans, because the game is given away in broad daylight. And when a club tries to complain, they'll look at it like, you didn't play your game, you could have won the game. You understand? Is FUBA or, I don't know, club managers, are they coming in when they hear such complaints, and how are they tackling them? If you've never had any suspension of any referee, does that mean they've been doing a tremendous job and the fans are the ones overreacting, or clubs are overreacting? Because you find instances where some clubs don't even have a bias already on a referee because of past officiating that is not good. So when does FUBA come in to pose sanctions on these referees?
Yeah, that's a good question. And for the point of information is actually for the last 2 years now, starting from last year and this year, we realized that game officials' problems were on the rise. A lot of people are complaining about the referees, especially in the NBL. One, for starters, we introduced 3-man officiation. But the challenge
works in some games.
Yes, the challenge we've had with that is consistency. Sometimes the resources are not there. With the guidance of the committee, because it's the committee that looks for resources. Now, on our side as the federation, we guide and say, can we have games, these caliber of games, managed by 3 officials? They look into their budget and they come back and tell you, boss, we don't have that money. You understand? And remember, it's their mandate to finance. Ours is to, when we see in technical that, look, the magnitude of the game, the way the games are going, they are tough. Now that we even have bet power bringing that bonus, it is hard to win a game in the NBL. Then we are saying, look, because of the cry of game officials, how do we chew this? First of all, let's create a 3rd official. But still, challenge is consistency because of funds. Now, but again, we did not sit as a federation. What we did through the technical committee, guided by Mande Baker, the Vice President Technical, with the technical director, Nicholas, we created what we call game day assessment, starting from last year. If you realize, if you're keen now in the NBL, every game day, there is a referee assessor. Every game day, there is a referee assessor.
So
and sometimes,
even a keen interest.
yes, sometimes we actually earmark some games especially the big games. We assess those referees, and we were deliberate. We said, starting last year, we are going to make an assessment of referees. Now, we may not come out to the public and say we have suspended this referee. But if according to our assessment, you've done 8, 10, 12 games, and according to our assessment, you're not doing well, you realize there are some officials who no longer see you. It's no longer a matter of, okay, this guy knows how to ref. You understand? We give you opportunity. If you mess up with that opportunity, we put you on the bench. There are referees right now that are not reffing in the NBL. I don't know whether you've realized that. Exactly. They were demoted to the lower league. And further, we also assess them from there. If they are not okay with the with the Division 1 and Division 2, regional.
That for me is a good thing, but I would appreciate if it goes public. Because you see, when a referee is suspended and the league is aware, when that referee is back on track, they know what to do different. Newe mukola ka hidden thing atuberanga batamulabawo tuyinzoloza mulwadde.
Obate mwagala kubaswaza.
No. But let's be honest with each other. Where?
Nga play babera bamususpend nze bonna bababulira.
Premier League does. Kale guno mupira na hiyo.
No, even in basketball when they suspend a player, we get to know.
Over what?
Over maybe in disciplinary issues.
Discipline. Referee atakuwa de foul.
Referee ashobola okostinga the team, the championship.
The fans have complained. Let the fans get the feedback that referee bamujewo such that the fan yamanye dobozi lye baliwulira asigale nga ajja
nga ba complaining akuse musajja wange senfuma
kati kankubuulireko muganda wange kankubuulireko muganda wange teri tiimu mweni BL eta complaining nze nina team Pearl Queens naye nkugamba nange nina list yange
oyina bali fali botayaga
ne siboogera era nze bwe ntunula ku schedule nti nga batuwaddeyo tetugujjayo batuwaddeyo tetugujjayo naye all teams have complained, but you can't have it your way all day. Okitegeera kawalya njagala ombuulireko jurisdiction ki ekola kino kye mwagala tukole
ba publicizinga
okusinziira ku ki referee waba akutte bribe waba akutte bribe ekyo kinene naye referee bw'aba agenze ku game game negenda mu overtime olw'okuba bali tabawadde foul nga tugenda ku mawulire g'okusatu nga tugamba nti ono refu tumugobye
njagala twogereko ku nsonga ya medication. The teams during game days, we don't see ambulances there. Aren't you guys playing in the life of these players? No. We don't see ambulances on match days. That is very risky. We've been here and seen horrific incidents when players get those horrific accidents during game days.
What I can tell you is that ambulances under the medical commission is a must. And sometimes you actually budget for the ambulance. Most times if you're keen, especially the games here, the ambulance is always packed there. And we partnered with KCCA to provide that ambulance. Sometimes it was Abbey Clinic, but I will not say we've been consistent, especially with now that we have gone to other venues. Abja Park, yes, Abja Park, Raise Life, Mokono. I'll be honest. We have not been. We have not been what? But that still goes to the budgeting people. Consistency, because it is true. I've ever been here and we had a scenario. One of the Nabisunsa players nearly died. Okay. By the time we called an ambulance, the young girl was dying. We actually had to put her in one of the vehicles to rush her to hospital.
That's a big concern.
Exactly. And we've seen even in other sports disciplines, it's a big concern. So probably we need to go back to the drawing board with the committees. Some of these things, sometimes I don't blame them so much, because there are certain things they take lightly, because they have not been in management so much. But I assure you, by the end of this league, I know there are big lessons that they have taken, because a lot of things have happened under their radar.
You are taking it back to then
It is the committee, because it is not
the committee.
I'm telling you, we gave them management mandate.
But do you go
And we gave them a checklist.
Do you revise? Do you go and reflect
we
and
do.
say that
You see
the
now,
game should not start if there is no ambulance at the venue?
now that is where the weakness is. You understand?
Okay.
Sometimes we let games go on when the checklist is not complete, which is wrong. So for that, probably we need to go back to the drawing board. But it is their mandate, because we gave them a checklist and told them, look, for proper game management, you need A, B, and this is what we've been doing, A, B, C, D, E, F. You have to make sure these things are there.
Thank you so much for the submission.
Yeah.
My other concern in this current league has been the ghost player signing. Where you a team can sign players, ghost them, and activate them later. Yeah, just walk us through why FUBA introduced this rule and what problem was it solving? Because isn't this like effectively legalized roster hoarding? Because now for clubs that can afford, let's say Pearl Queens can afford to keep 5 players somewhere just in case they need them. Doesn't it stop other clubs from accessing these players? They've been kept somewhere because Pearl Queens has the financial muscle. So kitegeera bwagamba nti no abazanyi bange batana bonja bakosa mu second round naye atenga UPDF esolo bakozesa.
City Oilers will have Jermaine Ray back on their roster from the start of the season, but will not appear until maybe the playoffs.
So
No, but I think we need to get acquainted with the rules.
What do the rules say?
Previously, the last 3-4 seasons, what you're talking about happened. Like a team would wait at a certain time. They make sure they have cemented their position, and then they recruit. Yeah? You see someone just comes into the league and beats everyone and jets back to their country. Okay? But you see now, we sat down, looked at the loophole then, and we amended the rules. The rules are now very clear. You realize now that we have a transfer window. There's a transfer window.
That for me,
The mid-season transfer window.
Now, the mid-season transfer window is like, let me explain it. A team is allowed at the start of the season to register 18 players.
Yes.
18 players.
A maximum of
18 players. Now, in those 18, you allowed 4 foreign players. 4. Previously, you could have 4 play 2, 3 at a certain on game day, but now we allowed them. Actually, previously,
on court or not,
previously we could say you can sign as many foreigners as you want, but you could only use 2 or 3 on game day. But we switched it up and said, look, for the growth of the game and looking at other jurisdictions like Rwanda, we are going to allow teams to have 4 on their roster, and those 4 could play at any end.
Yeah.
Now, when you play your first round and it ends, we open the window. The window is usually 1 month into second round. We usually open it a week or 2
before the
closure. Before the closure of first round. And then we give you that period 1 month into the second round. Now, teams are allowed to remove on the 18-man, remove 3
and
add 3. If you have 18, there are certain teams that register 12. If you have 12, you can add on your 3.
Not 6.
3.
To make it 18.
3.
You know, before we are
3. It is up to you,
That
because
was the issue with JK, I think.
now
they wanted 6 more.
exactly, even Kampala Rockets at a certain time wanted to add in players because they did not have players, but they couldn't because the rule says
You cannot bring in more than 3 players in
now
the season.
the twist is you cannot now cause what you've talked about. You know why? Because in that window, if say you're bringing Hudson from Iraq, Hudson is still playing in Iraq, but you're going to register him in this window for second round and playoffs. Now, in those 30 days, you have to make sure you get a clearance from FUBA. Now, that means that player, for us to allow him, he ought to have gotten that license within the window. You can't get the license after the window. Now, that is the catch. So, if you're saying City Oil is bringing in players at playoff level, for them, they are smart. They are saying, look, I'm going to have my player. Probably right now, I already know my position. I can play through quarter-final, but already, the player is eligible according to the rules. They have already secured their license.
Shouldn't there be a rule that if you're bringing in a player,
he has to play?
He has to play in the radio zone before.
Now that is up to the managers, because I know the feeling is this. We need to see this player. We need to see Komagum play at YMCA at 9 on Sunday, up to when we go to the playoffs. That is what that is the feeling.
Yeah.
You know, but managers have different ways of, they are saying, look, I can register my player as long as I fit within the transfer window. I get the license, I register them. Then why would I bring that player to be here? I'm paying him over $1,000 per month. Let me wait 1 month to go.
Boyogedde ku dollar nikireetawo that foreign policy.
Yes.
Abazanyi bemugamba abanaye. It's a good thing, it boosts the league. Abazanyi abana abava eri ne bajja. What happens to clubs that can't afford to bring those ones? Does it need to weaken the opponent? And how will you compete favorably with a weaker opponent? Nga golesa abazanyi bana buli kangambe story lese abana Paul Quinze ye ndaba mwayiwawo wano merchandise w'amaanyi Kenya oba wa mwaba maje muri red kati wemba mzanyanga maje wemba yazanya Magic Stormers mu playoffs ngate mwe mwinae abazanyi bamwe abaveria abanene badominating ze Kenya badominating ze wa mubalese wano timu zitasobola kuleta abazanyi ngabo tetuwikanize competition
twagala level ground
anti kati challenge eliwo bobo yagala level ground nawe westule atenga
manager mwa signing aleta weewole sente
ainamu olaba bagamba tulina olugero mu Luganda aga yewooze omumba boboze mu NBL boboze mu NBL ng'ogenda competinga n'abasajja
musajja ajja kufalo
bukiri ekitegeera bwoba ogenda competinga ne JK era awangudde ebikopo bimeka agenda kuleetera aba Nigeria basatu gwe Paulo Queen lwaki teweekwatakwata.
There are rules out there in other leagues ezireetera competition okubeera like nga clubs competing fairly. Nti kati nga bwolaba ebyo bya PSR bye tulaba mu bazungu mu mupiira nti team te spending a sente zeetasobola kuyingiza. Simanyi oba musobola okuteekawo amateeka because twalabye teams ezirina sente nga zikozesa that advantage. Nti City Oilers tebawa kifaananyi kituufu mu regular season until ngemaze kuleeta bazannyi abo. Twalabako ndowooza yali ne JK. They took the other league because they brought in Jensen, and that was
a whole switch.
Yes, and that was the whole difference. Simanyi oba waliwo amateeka musobola okukola ku leveling of ground for other teams nazo nesigala nga zikobera because mu regular season tesobola kufuna clear picture nti ono agenda kubeera bwati ne bwati throughout the campaign.
Olaba kyemmanyi nti buli season etuwa ekyokuyiga okitegeera. Olaba essaawa eno nti liigi y'abasajja bwe yali emyaka 10 egiwedde mwaka guno si bwe badde tulabyemu abaana tulabyemu tiimu empya zigezaako okwesitula competinga neki
but it will be a different story in the playoffs.
Okitegeera kati olaba nze ndowooza ekyo kirina kuddayo ku ba managers ne tutuula wansi ku mmenza ne tugamba look tusobola tufuna tutya fairness okitegeera tusobola tufuna fairness tutya mu rosters tusobola okubeera nga tulina some leveled ground naye eyo challenge waliwo abatajja kiraba bwe batyo wange oli ajja kugamba se tiimu yange I can afford okitegeera kati nze atasobola ngenda kutandika
naye ate abantu bemutaddeko akakazito nti waba alimu NBL nga inoba if the shoe has to fit somehow jukira NBL I don't think it's giving us the mileage that club owners expect kati bwengezaako okulevelinga ku Mr. Hudson okusobola okompitinga naye sigenda kujjamu nnyo ate nga ntaddemu to level up kati competition egenda kukula naye nga manager njavuwala
prize money
what
are teams competing for?
We don't even hear
kati tunagenda ku prize money najuwulira lulimu ate kyuka
kati labika eri zero
naye ate bane mulina tusiimako tulina ligi ze tulina season ze twakuba nga tewali prize money
kituufu ekyo kati wabulayo oba
zaweraawo okitegeera n'amasala ne tugajjawo nga tukuwa emigiyo emidaali gyo n'ofuluma ligi neggwa anti labayo it's a process tukula wetwali si wetuli because resources weziba tezisoboka dina gyolaba that glamorous function eri mbokadde 2-3
anti kyembadde ngamba yo nga FUBA bwebeda etambuza season is there a way marketing manager akuba tali wano is there a way FUBA can partner with hotels, with places that can accommodate them at a good discount? Abana basigala nga promoting a hotel ezo during those.
We've done that. We have Fairway as our hospitality partners. We have Onomo Hotel. We have Kabila Country Club. Era watulabanga amasala agamu twagatwala.
But out from that dinner, let us look at the bigger picture. The teams competing for completely nothing.
Chenjagala okugamba kawalya even me as a sports person nange kugamba tuba na that motivation to play otukane webuza naye lwakizannya okitegeera
bana mbazwa sente
naye amazima gali nti twatuula ndoze emyaka ng'ebiri emabega okitegeera kyovula watwateekawo ne kawinda ako nti mu playoffs tunoonya playoffs partner okitegeera kubanga kiyinza otuzibuwalira okufuna partner wa playoffs nga tetunnatuuka ku playoffs okitegeera naye kawinda ako bekatuuka era twalinako we had one of the insurance companies yatusponsoringa for like 2-3 years naye of course bafunamu issues ne bakola ki kyolina okumanya nti nebasponsor nabo tebali consistent okitegeera wabawadde omwaka guno bikyukamu naye at least twakkaanya unanimously that we need to play for a prize whether it is small or not we need to play we need to actually name budgeting nga season yetandika prize money over awards zibeerawo.
Then the other issue is that oyogedde ku sponsor mwena ko Tascalite. I remember yali abo bukadde 10. I remember attending some of those press conferences when you were unveiling bukadde 5 dozanga bujja mu league bukadde 5 bali bugenda 3-3. Yes, naye I don't know if you mishandled that partnership or relationship with him because I remember Duli yali ekyaliko ngamuchazo okudayo ne negotiating ate ne muleta Castlelight a true competitor ndimine engeri gye mu mismanaging relationship with the sponsors temba handling with a lot of care temba wa mileage ewerako kati muina bet power awa abazanyi sente directly because oli atulawo mundi ogusooka bet power buli team ewangula buli muzanyi abeera ko winning team amwe mtondo zigire round 10 na ye tosobola kujja mu arena oba during the NBL games yona gye zibeera zizanyira no laba mileage afuna nti oba board ze weziri siraba nti sponsor tafuna mileage nti waddamu bwayagala okurenewing that partnership anoonya ebintu byafunyemu nga tabiraba
anti kajolaba
kitemu enough mileage
ekyo si kituufu kyogedde si kituufu olaba ekya mishandling Tascalite yatuuka yenga ina internal issues
ezabwe
zitali with FUBA na jam
pulling out
ne Castlelight naye najja era that was actually public information. They had some audit issues so they had to refrain from all the CSR they were doing to first handle their Stanbic Bank omulaba wali and we are trying as much as possible okusinzira ku contract yaffe yitwakola naye to do what we are mandated to do. Okitegeera sente buli sponsor ayagala ebipande mu kisaawe ayagala ebipande tubimuteeramu ayagala mileage ku social media tugikola okitegeera deal ya bet power eri different okitegeera era gwe funa obudde njagala ofunemu obudde nga nange bonfunye wano okwate makasi CEO waffe ne Anodi Katabyo baleete wano obagambe deal ya bet power yali etya era kiki kye mulina okukola kiki kye mutakoze
simbanga mwalita bafiri
okitegeera ate bafere batya are you concerned
with the fluctuation in the numbers because katugenda mu playoffs abantu bajja kulabika tubeera kwa MC nga waliwo bazanyi n'abamawulire and just like two fans bosobola okumanya are you guys concerned?
We are always been concerned era fenga federation tugamba nnyo ama teams omanyi zo teams zimanyi nti ffe tulina okunoonya abawagizi which is a wrong mentality and that has been the mindset for a number of years bo bamanyi nti teams zimanyi nti kasita league etandika federation erina okutambula gambe mujje mulabe game za okitegeera naye teams oziraba n'okugenda ku nsonga y'okulaba nga games tuzispreadinga yava ku ekyo nga twatula ne tugamba nti mwagala the fans to be engaged with the teams probably tubatwalire emizannyo gye bali bayinza okuba lugogo tebamutegeera katubatwalire emizannyo gye bali tulabe era olaba teams ezimu zeekozeemu omuli reserve ogiraba wa ereeta zaana community nejja neekola ki kira ogiraba n'erinnya yakyusizza so that they get attached to the community omuntu abeere nga amanya kira Jaguars egenda kuzannya kanziruka erugogo namuwongo ogiraba actually namuwongo yatuzibula amaaso okitegeera namuwongo yatuzibula amaaso nti team actually if they get out if they think out of the box you can actually get funds okitegeera naye mentality y'abamanager erina okukyuka federation si erina omulimu gw'okuleeta abaki federation yateekawo platforms okitegeera eziranga emizannyo gino
kwekyo ekyokuleeta abafanzi bange nga ndi muzannyi. Does FUBA have a package for a player? Kampe example, maybe Titus oba Kaira, alese mchala we, oba alese abaana be. Do they have a discount? Is there a package for them? Kubango wizo kuja, maybe mama omwana agendo zanya. Are they discounted at the entrance oba aberango omulala yenna?
Sometimes players are meant to pay. They are not.
Tebakulimba. If you don't have a game, if you don't have a game,
yes.
You pay.
If you don't have a game, you come here. If you want to come, you pay.
Negative players are made to pay for the games.
So we are managing iranga league. La player tumugamba. Oboze game ya mutwalo sasula ha. Oba toyinayo game ngoze kugira. Kwanga naffe tukwagala obeere ki? Were munda. Ne management committee eriwo yo yakyusaamu negamba nti kati family package kyemmanyi ekiriwo nti tiimu nga tiimu kangeze ng'eyange bwebanga probably n'aba sponsor beerese oba waliwo abantu abali privilege okukola ki okuyingira okujja okulaba games yes era kati kangeze ng'ebitongole nti KCC bwekubira negamba aba manager waffe ayagala kujja oba idi ayagala kujja those privileges are there era tuzibawa tiimu tuzibawa bapresidenti b'amatiimu bamanager bacoach tebasasula okitegeera naye issue eri kubazannyi kubanga abazannyi amazima gali nti bebasinga okulaba emizannyo gino munaddala mu season bebasinga okugiraba.
Then percentages gemuwa teams do like at the end of the season, because I remember last year we were collecting around 77 million across the gate collection. Percentage teams muziwa meka because kati chiba chinuma nti Raise Life oba Chira Jaguars oba Namongo Blazers kwa Bia Park nti kulwaki temujiwe emiryango nti yebere ekyaziza era timu zino mugenda kukola zityo ziyamba zina venues zazo okuba nti zikuza nti zifuna ne more games okubanga ziwostinga because kiro mokulaba nti Jaguars esokubanga ina venue yayo nenge ekyaziza like games nganya across all the games they are.
Ne ensonga ba manager bagigonjola wanga nze wemba nina venue kati nze nzanyina host gundi yange venue yange ina Kivubo okuhamba bwe babanga ngenda kukyaza
Opal Queens
yes bwe manga ngenda kukyaza tukanya ne management ekitegeera ne ngamba nti oba mutwala 60-40 ekitegeera but there is a percentage bakola but ekyo tukikola kubanga waliwo emizannyo emirala package ya federation gye mugenda okukola ki game ya mweyo kasimoje egenda okuzanyibwawo okitegeera kati aba balina venues nga basobola collecting a cent. There is that percentage they bagabana ni management committee.
What happened to the Hoima games that were postponed? What happened?
Hoima games issue yali ku logistics. teams za complaining that weekend emu kati nja ku example nze ku fixture bali bantayeddeko nti nina okuzanya ku Lwokutaano ne Sunday. I have over 12 players. I have 4, 5, 6, 7 officials. Kati ngambalamu nti mbatwale Hoima probably ku Lwokusatu.
A contingent of about 18 or 20.
Over 20. People, yeah. Batwale Hoima obasuze obaliise bazanye ku Lwokutaano babeerewo ku Saturday paka Sunday. Nga sente tiimu emu gye zigenda okukozesa twakolamu math oyo ne teams nga sente managers agenda okuspendinga that one weekend zisukka ne registration mu weekend emu ne tugamba it is not feasible.
For the sake of pushing that Hoima Stadium ekintu kya fixture ekyandibadde kiganye bandiyizayo maybe something to push the league, maybe an all-star, maybe something to happen. Yes, we are certain that biringa fixture games zali nyingi zali zigendo berayo nga teams
lwakubanti challenge no lwakubanti challenge twafuna nti ba manager batwefuuliramu nga nange mwendi nga nange mwendi omanyi lwaki ngamba nti kwali kwefuula nkozesa olulimi olwo ligi bwe yali etandika twabagamba nti ekisaawe kyawedde ku venues tu earmarkinga nakyo tukikoze ekiseki kubanga tulina okozesa opportunity ya national facility okitegeera tujja tuuka nga eno teriiwo nga bw'obimanyi nga tetulina okukola ki okukozesa eri so we agreed unanimously that Hoima should be kati kye twakisalawo ne tugamba tujja kikola mu second round fixture second round bwe yajja ne bagenda ku social media FUBA
what has been your biggest structural weakness as a league that fans do not see as a problem?
Our what?
A biggest structural weakness as a league here. Gwenga gwe bwoba olaba league yaffe. What is that thing that fans can't see but it's a problem to the league?
I think it's resources. Resources. Ola abafani kati nze kankubulireko bafani bajja wano for a ready package. But there is a lot that goes into these teams preparation. By the time you reach a game day, team webe ekozeseza resources tozimanyi. Nze ndi manager. Team yange training on Monday, Tuesday ne Thursday. Tugenda otuuka ku Lwokutaano ssebo. Nga resources zokozeseza till game day. Ne kati ye omuwagizi ajja kujja asasule wano mutwalo. Sigamba nti that is his concern. Ye concern ye ya final package. But they also need to have this information that there is a lot that goes behind. But by the time we have games on Friday, even the management committee itself, but tugambira nti fixture ene egenda beerawo ku Lwakutaano erugogo. Bingi nnyo bye tuba tutunuddemu. Biyitirivu bye tuba tutunuddemu game eyo okubeerawo. Okitegeera naye abafani tebakitegeera.
Like Bobby Wine said, the world is not looking for those who are failed.
So resources weziba nga ye challenge right now. Mweno playoffs ezitandika ku Friday. Omuntu abadde talaba nnyo game oba abadde alaba regular season kyekyenjawulo kyagenda osanga mu playoffs kitabaddeewo nga si just basketball. Maybe n'ogamba nti bajje balabe kino ba half time waliwo kigenda oba ekyenjawulo.
Of course,
Half time abaana badduka buddusi ku
signing a partner. I don't know whether you are aware, Black.
Yes.
Yeah, Black abadde atuyambako ku those half-time challenges. Kubanga ye era omulaba ne mu sports disciplines endala majoringa in those. So Black abeera atuyambako. Ne Stanbic yennyini ereetawo challenges. Bwe kituuka mu playoffs twabakkiriza to activate. Okitegedde. Luli kati we are looking around tunoonya playoff partner and probably if it all goes well we might have one or two. Naye oyo abazze tuba twagala akole those half time. Okitegeera naye ate waliwo kati nze nja kubulira nti waliwo season we twatuukanga nga partner aina okola activations ku half time naye nga n'okujja tajja. Okitegeera n'okujja tajja kati waliwo ebitusukkako naffe nga federation n'ogamba surely.
Hudson, as we leave,
yes.
Before you give your parting shots, Abapalo Queens, Mogenazanya Magic Stormers, but you guys had given yourselves a couple of Friday games, prime time games.
That is wrong. That is wrong. When you say you have given them yourself, you sound like I start.
No. Conflict of interest. I
want to be on record.
By a huge margin.
Good thing you invited me here. Now I'm talking in the capacity of the president of that team. As Palo Queens, tetusabangako Friday games. Tetusabangako Friday games. Okitegeera abali in charge of competitions bondos abatula ne balabanga yo roster ya Friday okitegeera era nze nzijukira in my own capacity na I was up in arms nembagamba bannange we are underdogs, we have just come into this league mutuleke mugenda kutulabisa okitegeera katolaba playoff fixtures playoff fixtures nze ne playoff fixtures manyi jwa tudde jikolera wabula bagimpadde buyo nanga asebo playoff zigenda kutandika gosooka era nembabuuza lwaki nze nsooka but they gave me justification bangambye for the number 4 number 5 it's always a balanced game so it might be good for a Friday night. That is the justification they gave me, and I was okay with it. But the team had refused. Say, we are comfortable playing on Saturday morning or Sunday morning. You need to respect your opponents.
Franchise player. Your parting shots. For Salas, we are very happy to and honored for you to have accepted to be on this show.
I'm also honored. I commend you for the good job. Nekirala tubebaza banango tugoberera. It's not easy there some sports disciplines that wali wadde na journalists babagoberera. But we appreciate the criticism. Tuyamba naffe to build ebiba biganye. Yeah, but as we part, I call upon all our fans to come and support the teams starting this Friday. We create that playoff spark. Yeah.
Palo Queens tolaba timu zikyusa amanya Kira Jaguars Palo Queens Nachivubo Jaguars
tufumba ekirungi tutrainingira wa munene kirungi tutrainingira wa munene sangana
reporting abantu bali mu banene
naye sifefe kabalesa ne gwe tugendo zanya omumanyi oyo omumanyi oyo asobola okuba tiimu yonna oyo asobola okuba tiimu yonna yekka
Tufa tebidda kubanga tusukaka awo mwebala okubanga mulaba Sports Nation TV.